Welcome to gagrul.net. This is Gagrul Live on Facebook. My name is Wally Sarkisian. Today our guest is former Ambassador Papyan. He is a historian, politician, was ambassador before, and among many things. Ara, welcome.
Hello.
So let's talk a little bit about your trip to North America, like United States, California, Washington D.C., and New York. Tell us what was your goal and how you achieved your goal.
I was in the United States for 3 weeks, beginning from March 6. First, I visited California, namely Los Angeles, met with community people, community organizations, gave a lot of lectures, answered a lot of questions. The main goal was to explain the people, the organization, or the platform which I represent now at that time as well. It's National Democratic Axis. Azgain Ժողովրդավարական Բևեռ. It's a new organization. It's not a party, not exactly or even an organization. It's a gathering of people that share common views on national issues and democratic issues. So first part of my trip was in California. Later, I visited Washington, met representatives of State Department, former officials and current officials as well, and also to former diplomats who currently are serving in the think tanks. You know that think tanks are very important for the United States. They actually first tackle all the questions and then the political issues are submitted to State Department for the implementation. I visited as well Princeton on my way to New York because Princeton University was the university where Woodrow Wilson was head of that university. And maybe you know that I am engaged over 10 years doing researches in Armenian legacy of Woodrow Wilson, especially arbitral award. And for me, it was very important to visit his university as well to discuss the possibilities of cooperation with that famous center. Later, I visited New York, also meetings mainly with community, with the same goal, explanation, the situation in Armenia, answering questions. Generally speaking, I am satisfied of my visit, hopefully they as well, but I will have another visit to the United States shortly on April 14. Because this time I hope to have meetings with congressmen and senators as well, alongside with community meetings.
That's great. I think you're doing something right. So, in the election, your organization will not participate as a party or something.
We'll see, because in order to participate, the organization must become as a party, because only parties or alliances of the parties can participate in the elections. We haven't the final decisions because the laws are in the process of changing, and we must be sure that at least we will have a fair elections, because if everything will remain as it was before so-called revolution, will have the same results, which means that the governing party and the parties that have more means and money structures, they will win. It will not be competition of ideas, but competition of money.
So, what was this new uh, uh, electoral code change stuff? Can you elaborate on that?
Actually, it's a small change was done. So-called, it was some kind of rating calculation when a party could have several representatives in the same electoral. It's called Antragante Ramas. Let's say, in a way, it's and then to accumulate all votes there, and the party leader has the right to decide who will become member of parliament. Just only this small part was eliminated, which means that the party can have only one candidate in each, let's say, place. This is the changes. Otherwise, it's almost the same. The electoral code, it's a big book. It's minor changes were done. Yes.
So election, they set up on the June 20th, but when does start the election campaign stuff? It's already started, or is there is a deadline?
Even we do not have now, even now, official announcement. It was just once told by Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan that we will have. But we know that Nikol Pashinyan very often changes his minds, and it's quite possible, first, he will change his mind. Secondly, it's possible that some political changes can happen in the country or not far from our country. Let's say if there will be a war between Russia and Ukraine, it will maybe jeopardize the safety and security in Armenia as well, because Turks will become very active in Armenia or around Armenia, let's say, and maybe the elections will be postponed. Also, we know that this COVID-19, this pandemic, also is gaining more and more numbers, and it can be another, let's say, reason for that, for delaying. Until now, that time, that Prime Minister will resign, because he had to resign before the elections, and after that, within 40 days, will be official elections. We are waiting to see the official announcement for the elections, for the date, and we'll decide at that time.
Is there any political party in Armenia I don't say West, because European are coward. It's a hopeless thing. Is Armenian always talk about European and their human right. It's bullshit stuff. I mean, as you could see, the European going there begging Erdogan, appeasing him as dictator. So European is a useless. But is there in Armenia any political party or organization pro-America?
Actually, we can say that our platform organization, National Democratic Axis, is widely American, in a way that we are looking for closer and wider relationship with the United States. Especially, we are eager to gain for Armenia special status. It's called major non-NATO ally of the United States. Many countries have this status. For example, Thailand, Tunis, Bahrain, Argentina, Brazil, Korea, South Korea, Israel, and generally 18 countries. And this status will give more safety and security for Armenia, because it will open widely the doors for military cooperation and defense. Because what happened during this so-called Karabakh war, we understood that Russia, that used to be, and we were thinking for even centuries, that is our ally and our guarantor of safety of the country, we now can see that Russia is becoming closer and closer to Turkey and Azerbaijan, and remaining without any ally with him we can protect our country is very dangerous. And really we're looking for the possibilities for our country. We can see that Europe has no political will as well military power to defend the country. United States, they have the capacity to do so, but we have to engage United States more and more in South Caucasus to understand they have political will to go deeper in South Caucasus, especially with Armenia. But we hope that we can do this because it's a way out for this critical, very critical situation.
If you're not a political, I mean, if you're not a prime minister or the party in charge, how could you change that, with a platform? I mean, yeah, that platform, what you're suggesting would have been good if it started maybe, 10 years ago and start building this, because if you guys are not a party in charge, how is your platform going to help?
Anyway, we can have our influence on the minds and souls of our people, be it in Armenia or in diaspora as well, because not Armenians in Armenia, but also some diaspora Armenians, even living in the United States, there are very, very, I will say, stupidly pro-Russian, more pro-Russian than even Russians themselves are. And they are looking for Armenian interests. Because sometimes, maybe a century ago, or a little bit more, Armenian and Russian interests were very close or the same. When Russia was trying to, let's say, occupy or liberate, how you will call some territories in Turkey, and were hoping that with Russians, Armenians will be safer. But now I already told we are in the 21st century, and many things have been changed. So we first are trying to change the political landscape in Armenia. Secondly, if we'll go to the elections and will be enough successful to gain some seats in parliament, it will give us also some leverage over the parliament, and step by step to build new relations with the United States, as we had 100 years ago. I would like to remind that Armenia was the only country in South Caucasus which was recognized by the United States on April 23, 1920. Non-Azerbaijan, neither Georgia were recognized by the United States. And we had an embassy there in Washington, D.C., United States has their official representative in Armenia, Colonel Haskell, and we know a lot of help assistance that we receive from the United States, especially for orphans in Armenia. So we have at least 1 century of official relationship between Armenia and the United States, and around about 400 years of close relations with two people in Armenia and in the United States. Even United States at that time were part of Great Britain or British Empire.
You have Pashinyan and Kocharyan, both of them day in, day out, running to Moscow, competing who more Putin love, who is going to pick to be. I mean, I honestly, I'm just, I don't have too much hope on Armenia because I travel in Armenia lots. I met lots of people from farmers and actors and all that stuff. You know, it's when you talk to Armenian people, they were smart people, but then there's nothing happened. They all economically depend on Russia, militarily depend on Russia, politically depend on Russia, and I just see it as a Russian colony. I just don't see how you guys call Armenia independent country.
Unfortunately, you are right. Armenia is a colony or semi-colony because everything in Armenia belongs to Russia, not only economically but also politically.
Yes.
And we can see that Pashinyan, especially this last year, had no visit to foreign countries. He goes very often to Moscow, and everyone, unfortunately, also some parties in opposition, they want to please Moscow, and they are competing to be beloved wife in Putin's harem. This is the real situation. We know that it's very difficult for us, political power that is looking to the United States as a main ally. But we have to do this because our understanding is that with Russia, Armenia has no future militarily, no future economically, and especially also taking into account the closer relationship with Turkey. And they are becoming even more and more dependent on each other, Russia and Turkey. In 2023, they will have $100 billion of trade with each other. It's a big number. Russia is building now a nuclear power station for Turks. Turkey are buying from Russians S-400 anti-missile and anti-aircraft systems. And even just today, we know that United States implemented some sanctions against Turkey for that S-400 and so on. So looking from Moscow, for them, Turkey and Azerbaijan are much more important than Armenia. And this is the reason that we do not have other choice to look for new allies. Some people say and name us as anti-Russian. We are not anti-Russian. Armenians have to look new allies. Russia is now anti-Armenian. They have become anti-Armenian, becoming closer with Turkey because it is impossible to be same time a strategic partner with Turkey and Azerbaijan and have strategic relationship with Armenia. Maybe it's possible on the paper, but in reality, we have seen that it is impossible. And we can feel that there is danger. We cannot sit and wait what will happen with our country. We have to do our best. At least we can say, at least we tried. We have to try. And we hope that our Armenian American lobbyist groups and community also will understand the grave situation in Armenia and support us in order to have more contacts and meetings with officials, with congressmen and senators to explain the situation. Because, okay, we understand it's very important, recognition of Armenian genocide by the United States. But prevention of the genocide is much more important. It's more important, the prevention, because in this situation, it's very hard to predict how will things will go on, because Russian situation, economic situation, political situation is very fragile now. And let's say if something will happen in Russia, in Moscow, and Armenia will appear in political and military vacuum, even for a short period, for a couple of months. This will endanger the existence of our people. Because we have to understand that it's not just issue of independence, it's a real issue of existence of the state and the people.
If Pashinyan got elected, so he was like 3 years, he will be another 5 years, 8 years. Do you really think anyone can remove Pashinyan after that? He's going to become another dictator like Azerbaijan and Trump and Putin and Erdogan. I honestly don't have any political people, whether in Armenia or in diaspora, affiliated. That's why I speak freely. But that idea of forming this, 17 group, whatever they were, creating a government, because Pashinyan is not going to investigate himself. There is no way he will do that. And there is a 5 months is gone by. There is no investigation. He went in the military. He told them that as long as he's in power, he's not going to investigate the military. And he is pumping millions of dollars, raising the police salaries and the teachers and the civil servants. So he's creating his own deep state. And in another 5 years, there is no way anyone, I don't care what idea you have, you could get rid of Pashinyan if you don't do it now.
It's quite possible that he could be re-elected. It's possible that he will be re-elected, because what is doing so-called opposition, as you said, 17 plus, it's actually threatening the situation for the people. People do not want Serge Sarkisian or especially Kocharian to return to power. And existence of these 17 groups makes Pashinyan to be elected. And we can see that they are interconnected with each other. If, let's suppose, there was this group of 17, Pashinyan alone, and other groups and parties, for example, ours, nobody will give any vote to Pashinyan. They will go after new party. But now in this situation, when you have the main choice between these former authorities and current one, people in this comparison, they prefer Pashinyan. This is how they are manipulating the situation. And we, and our slogan actually is that we, not the current ones, neither the previous ones, but the national future. We think that the national future for Armenia is very important actually, and we can deliver that one.
Actually, Pashinyan gonna successfully use, and they already using, I interviewed some Pashinyan people, they say, well, what do you want? You want the old regime to come back or Pashinyan? So Pashinyan gonna hammer that, the old regime are coming and the people are in the street are old regime, and also gonna provide Armenia, say, this opening the corridor, the economic corridor. So he's gonna play this two tools he has in his political toolbox. And of course, Russia and Azerbaijan, Turkey gonna definitely support them. And my feeling is that Azerbaijan holding those hostages is for that purpose. When Pashinyan probably, I don't know, I'm just guessing, when Pashinyan election happen, they might release a couple of them or all of them to support Pashinyan. They're gonna, those Russia, Turkey, Azerbaijan, they're gonna play big political role in Armenian election.
Yes, they will have that role, especially Russia, Moscow, then used to play this. But let's say Turkey as a new player on Armenian political stage, but they have more and more leverages on our people, because Pashinyan trying to explain and manipulate that you will live better, why to be hostile to Turkey, if we will be friendly with Turks, we'll have friendship with them, we'll have always peace and so on. But it's very hard to explain for common people that peace is not dependent on just on the words, because Armenia never was for war, but we have to defend ourselves. And Karabakh war began as self-defense, nothing more, because Armenians in Karabakh just peacefully explained their will to become part of Armenia, and they were massacred in Sumgait, Baku, Ganja, and so on. The same with Turkey. When Armenian people in Ottoman Empire were massacred, when the genocide happened, never Armenians were, let's say, against fighting the nation. Okay, there were some parties that were engaged in political life, but the 98% of people, even more, they had nothing to do with politics, with anything. They were living their lives, but they all were killed. No one, let's say, was saved because had nothing to do. The idea that Turks base their attitude towards Armenians based on Armenian policy is totally false. They have their agenda, their national idea to join with other Turkish people in South Caucasus and Central Asia, and they see Armenians as an obstacle, and this is why they want to eliminate Armenia.
Turkey was friends with Syria. They used to go vacation. What happened? Can Armenia look at their Syria, Iraq, Libya? They were Israel. Israel was number one lobby for Turkey. So, why Armenia are so blindfolded? They don't look at this geopolitics outside of Armenia, what Turkey is doing. And this war was a Turkish war. This was not Azerbaijani war. They were training, they were spying, all that stuff doing on Armenia. So, but the problem with Armenia is their poor country. And we just saw that how $1,500 this husband and wife sold their country.
Yes. Even before a couple of years ago, it was that an officer from Armenian army was spying for $700. It's very hard. But the problem is with the Pashinyan and his governing party, because they have all means of propaganda, and they are just brainwashing people, saying, let's say, Karabakh issue, we saved your boys, your children of the war, and now we are safe and they will be safe. But in reality is that now we have longer border with Azerbaijan to defend that we used to have in Karabakh. And the situation is more dangerous, especially in Sunik, in Zangezur, that very important part. And we can see that almost the other day or twice per week, we have some incidents of stoning the Armenian cars. The Armenian villages are attacked by some thieves from Azerbaijan and so on. It's very hard now to live. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't see any hope there. I think what they're gonna do is eventually they're gonna do this corridors. They're gonna open this. Turkey and Pashinyan will do his best to get Turkey connected with Azerbaijan, and Russia is pushing. I mean, every meeting they go they talk about this corridor stuff. They don't talk about Artsakh. We don't know who owns Artsakh. Is it the Russian? Is the Armenian? Or is the Azerbaijanis? We have no idea. Nobody knows about that. And
no, why we have the idea? Let's say 70% that Armenians used to control now is under Azerbaijani control, and the rest, 2,200 square kilometers, is under Russian control.
Yeah.
Russian control. This is Armenians just live there in the small part. They do not have any political status. They just under Russian control, and this is also very large uncertainty because so-called Russian peacekeepers can stay there up to 5 years, and nobody knows how long they will stay. Maybe longer, maybe shorter, but the situation is that we do not decide anything currently in Artsakh, and people are leaving Artsakh because they do not know their future.
Yeah.
What will and the future is not, let's say, the choice is not between to live under Armenian control or to live under Azerbaijani control. The choice is, if they will be under Azerbaijani control, they will have no life. Just a man was killed from Karmil Shuka, an Armenian village, 47 years old man, and brutally was killed, and his body was also mutilated. This is we have seen such things for not only during genocide, after genocide, but also at the beginning of 90s, during the first Karabakh war. And we have seen also 4 years ago, in 2016, we have the same situation last year. So nothing can make hopeful us that even after that Azerbaijan regain the control over Karabakh, they will live with us peacefully. I would like to remind that last year there was a military parade in Baku, and Erdogan was there invited, he was invited as the main guest, and he told that the soul of Enver Pasha is flying over us, and so on, which means that he reminds everyone about Armenian genocide.
Can anybody in any political party in Armenia say no to the corridor?
We said no to corridor, but you see, it's not enough because we do not have any status, we do not have a real power. Okay, we are politicians, political scientists, and so on, a group of people. We can gather some meetings, manifestations for 5,000 people, up to 10,000 people, but it's not enough to change the situation in Armenia. We unfortunately were unsuccessful to generate more protests. Real, let's say, number, it's over 50,000 people that can force the government to do some changes. But for now, it's impossible, it seems. But we'll go trying at that direction.
So all the other political parties, is anyone is against the corridor?
No, let's say Dashtag, they told that okay, we are against generally, but what we can do now, we have to accept this. They agree with the situation, we have to accept. And this is the platform of the 17, as you told. Pashinyan and his party, they are in favor of closer relations with Turkey. They see Turkey, as they say, it's not an enemy, it's a close ally and commercial trade partner for us. and many oligarchs in Armenia now hoping that Turks will come with their money, big money. They will sell their property, real estate that they have in their disposal, much more expensive, and then with this, reinvest this money or take this money out from the country and leave the country to Turks. And
Yeah.
many oligarchs speak openly that it's good for them because the prices will skyrocket up to 10 times, and they will have the possibility to sell all this.
And Pashinyan now is trying to buy more of those Su-30s. Why do he need this? He had already, he never used it. Why he's getting it?
He's trying to bribe Russians, nothing more, to please Russians, because Russia cannot sell this kind of aircraft to anyone, especially we do not need, because Armenia is too small for this aircraft, because within 5 minutes or even less, they take off, they are over Georgia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, or Iran. And this kind of aircraft can be used for big wars. Let's say if you have to attack in a country which is thousands and thousands of kilometers far away.
Yeah.
Especially the price, I mean, $35 million. With this huge money, we can have several thousand drones, which can be more useful for Armenia, because the so-called theater of the war is very small comparing, let's say, to World War. And the drones are the best option for Armenia. This is why Turks used very smartly, let's say, this new technology during last war. And they are, let's say, the main casualties were because we were fighting the war of last century, they were fighting the war of current century.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. There is not too much. I mean, I hope that you guys could turn your platform to a political party and be a voice of change. But other than that, it's Pashinyan. It's gonna. He has two tools. He's gonna sell these two tools. As I'm repeating, most Pashinyan people say, you know what, the choice is between the old regime and Pashinyan. That's why they want Pashinyan. In fact, I had one in here. He was saying, well, I don't like Soros, but I like Pashinyan. But he could not distinguish the two from each other, you know. And so.
The problem is that people also are feed up of the situation, but they cannot have a geopolitical choice as well. They are told that if you are not with Russians, it means that you are with Turks. This is a simple thing that they want to show that Armenians have only these two countries. I'm telling them, okay, look on the globe, how many countries? It's not 19th century. Yes, in 19th century, it was very hard for countries that are far away to project their power to thousands of kilometers. But now we can see, for let's say United States, to defend a country far away, it's a possible thing to do. Maybe it's not so easy, but it's possible. Let's say American Navy in the Mediterranean is just enough to protect Armenia, or a small group, or even a political situation, or a status of Armenia being
Just
an ally.
even U.S. Name ally of Armenia, it just enough. Never mind all that stuff, you know. And I just, like, how could you have a peace with Turkey, Azerbaijan when you don't have any military power? Peace comes from with power. You cannot have peace because Azerbaijan, if you do with those people, every day they're going to threat you with different things, and you will have to say, okay, and okay. How many okays you going to say? But you need to have a power or somebody's back so that you could do peace. You can't do peace like this. Armenia is in big trouble. Pashinyan going to fool Armenian into this economic corridor, and Russia love that, and this is Russia's thing is, God help Armenia.
God help Armenia, what we can say. We are trying to do our best, and we hope that our people will do smarter choices, because you cannot repeat the same situation, do the same things, and expect to have more positive results. We were 30 years with Russia, even we were much closer at that time. During this last decade, Turkey was not so close to Russia. But even during this period, we do not have any real development of the country. The population was decreasing. We lost over 1 million people left the country, even more than during the genocide. You see, during the genocide, 600,000 people left the country. The rest were killed. And during this independent period, over 1 million people left the country, even almost twice more. And this is when you go to many countries, you can see Armenian new communities. They are totally new because they are Armenians from Armenia.
Yeah. And then you have those Hayastanzi in Armenia, in California. They like to live the American luxury life, but they don't want Armenia to separate from Russia. It's just
Yes, and they support Russia. They support Putin, and they blame us. They criticize us, saying, "Why you are against Russians? Okay, you have to live under Russian boot," and so on. Even when I spoke in Glendale, a person stood up and said, "You want to put Armenia under United States yoke." I told you, American Lutsitak ek uzum tնել. I told you, okay, if you see that situation like this, why you are living in the United States? You can leave the country and go to Yoshkarola into Russia and live in Russian towns. This is the situation. And even in Armenia, when many people speak for Russia, having a choice between Russia and the United States, they will go to live to the United States, not to Russia. And they do understand. But the propaganda brainwash them, and they say that, okay, you see, why West and the United States haven't done anything during these 44 days of war and so on. We're trying to explain that, first of all, there were a lot of proposals from Western countries for military support and so on. Secondly, why you are expecting from them any support when they are not our allies? We are allied to their enemy, to Russia. We have first to be an ally to a country, let's say to the United States, and later expect some kind of support. And when we look at the history, generally, America always has supported her allies. Never abandoned them.
Situation like Armenia it should have been like a delegation of Armenians in the plane from one country to another country and telling them, look, this corridor, it means Turkey will move more terrorists to China, more bring them. I mean, Syrian war was all Azerbaijanis, Kyrgyzstan, whatever those, Uzbekistan, those from Russia, from the province of China, those, Xinjiang, whatever Uyghurs. They call
Uyghurs.
Yeah, they brought them all to Syria. They were not Arabs, mostly are Turks they brought them in. But this Armenians delegation would go from country to country to country, explain to them. All they do, Armenians, hello Russia, back from Russia. Hello Russia, back from Russia. You know, how could you have a country? It's a colony. Please don't call Armenia an independent country. It's a Russian colony. You know,
Nothing to say. Nothing to say.
it's.
Unfortunate situation.
I mean, it seems to me you are the only one speaking those. You're only speaking, also speaking of historical fact, like talking about 1920, what happened with Roe Wilson and all that. But you never hear that from any other another Armenian. All they talk is more cooperation with Russia, more integration with Russia. Russia come and save us. You know, for 30 years, what have you gained from Russia?
Just last month was a centennial of Moscow Treaty, which was signed on March 16, 1921. And according to this treaty, Bolshevik Russia gave to Turkey half of, at that time, of Russian Armenia. I mean, Kars, Ardan, and so, plus 4 villages they were given to Armenia by Woodrow Wilson arbitral award. And the rest, I mean, some parts were taken from Armenia to Azerbaijan and Georgia. This is why Armenia became so small, just 29,000 square kilometers.
Yeah.
And now having these borders, it's becoming very country which always in the danger. Woodrow Wilson has a term, viable state, to create a bigger one. Armenia actually with this size is not viable state. And why I was always advocating for Wilson's arbitration, because my understanding is Armenia can survive if Armenia will be bigger and stronger. To be stronger, Armenia must be bigger. Some people say, okay, first we have to become stronger and then fight for our rights. You can't become stronger with these borders. We can't become stronger under Russian control.
Yeah.
And
No way.
plus now we are having also Turkish control over Russian control. And if they will come and buy out all Armenian real estate, even Pashinyan now speaks about selling the buildings of universities. Can you understand what he is trying to do? Saying that a big price will be given for them because they are in the central part of the city. It's nonsense. And the idea is to build so-called university town out of Yerevan. But first you have to build that town and then sell the universities, because first if you sell them, the money will be spent, and also it will take at least couple of years, even more, to build new buildings. And what will do these universities for 2, 3, 5 years? And will lose all professors will leave country, the students will leave country, and this will make Armenia, which we always were proud to have knowledge-based economy, and Armenians always want their children to have good education and so on. What will be a country without any university? No, we have sold out all factories, we have sold out everything, companies. What we have in the country, this is some universities, not the highest level, let's say, comparing to the others, but anyway, they are universities.
Yeah.
And now they want even to destroy these universities as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We have digested quite a bit stuff, and so if I'll give you just a minute, you could say whatever you want to do. We'll close it, but then don't go away. I want to talk to you.
Okay. I want to say to diaspora that you have invested in Armenia a lot of your effort, time, money. It's now time to invest in political life in Armenia. it's time of state building. First, we have to build our state, Armenian state, real and independent state. Then it will be really a developed country. Otherwise, building just simple schools, pipelines, and hospitals without having an independent statehood, it will be in vain. Just it's time to support the powers in Armenia who are for independent statehood, who are for building the new Armenian state.
Well, thank you very much for coming, and stay, don't go away. And we appreciate you took your time. I know you're a very busy man. And for our viewer, thank you for watching. And tomorrow we'll have, I think tomorrow or next, we'll have Peter Abajian, who just came back from, they built villages on the border with Azerbaijan there. So they do a really great job. And so again, Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us.
You are welcome.